People of YouTube, hello and welcome to Lifeless Planet, which is in beta and came out to early access on Steam just a couple of days ago. This is a, well, self-described. This game is an action adventure exploration game. It's more of a, I haven't really seen, there's about 6 levels here, let me just say that first, out of the 20 possible, which you can play as an early access thing. And it's more of a, like a platforming exploration game, rather than, let's say, action straight up. That's my impression anyway. So let's gonna take a look here. First of all, a few things. So this is developed by a Stage 2 Studios, a one-man operation as far as I know, and for a one-man operation, it's a very impressive game already in the state that it is in. Another thing is that this is, maybe some of you could already tell, this is in Unity, which I like to refer to as Look Don't Touch engine. And obviously that's a kind of an exaggeration, but it often does look quite pretty, but you don't really interact with the world as much. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we get into the game. And obviously, whenever we talk about the options in Unity, they're kind of not there. In this, you can have more options. It's just this game is in beta, and it doesn't really have that many options yet. But you know how Unity options work, right? You just have the resolution, and you want to go either fast or fantastic or beautiful, etc. Anyhow, but it's completely understandable why people use Unity. You know, people who do indie development, because it's cheap and it makes your games look kind of cool. Anyway, so let's start at the very beginning first, and then probably I'll transport us to a different area to show you kind of the mechanics of the game and how it works. So let's go to, I guess, the landing side, which is the opening of the game. And at this point in time, the game doesn't actually have a cutscene or whatever. There's a sort of a cutscene, kind of couple of cutscene moments, but there should be one in the beginning and there should be more or whatever, but it's mostly just you actually controlling the guy. So what's happening in Lifeless Planet? You arrive at a planet that is supposed to be quite lush with life. You obviously are coming from Earth. You can see a couple of flags on the thing there, on the drop bot, and I think that's the last one is UN probably. So America, Germany, Japan, UN, whatever. You're obviously playing as the American dude. You run around with WASD, or you can use the controller, which I haven't tried. So I'm just going to be this presentation is going to be done with a keyboard and mouse. Oh, and I forgot to disable Steam. Okay, so your mission was to, as I said, go to a place and like form. This is a one-way ticket, and kind of explore, report back sort of situation. And obviously you kind of crash landed, as you can see by this wreck that's happening here. Again, the controls are simple. So when you're standing around, you can move around the mouse, and that's how you look around. But if you're moving, then moving the mouse moves your character around. There's jump, and there's double jump, which is your kind of jetpack, jet boosters thing that you have on your spacesuit. Another cool thing about the spacesuit and the whole design thing here is that it does a real-time, real-life reflection. So depending on where you're standing, you're gonna see different things reflected in your helmet, which is pretty cool, I think. Right, so let's get this on. The most of the interactions in the world are kind of you approaching a glowing object, which in my opinion isn't great, but again I understand why this is there and why developers may choose to do it that way. So let's start this off. This is your sort of tablet.
It's killing me.
Okay, let's let this guy speak.
Feels like I have a concussion. Where's my crew?
So what's really cool about this is that in terms of the voice acting, it gives you voice acting is quite well done for an indie game, and I'm gonna get into that in a second again. But the cool bit is that the voice gives you a very sort of summarized version of what's going on here, but you can obviously read more, and that's very nice. I think that's good design. That's good choice there. So I'm basically saying like, oh, my crew is missing, and I need to find them. I have no idea how long I was unconscious, and it's a bit weird that this planet looks the way it does because the scientists, which he refers to as eggheads, which is kind of unusual, I think, because an astronaut is kind of a scientist. And I don't think he would... we're low on oxygen. Alright, so we need to find oxygen, which isn't hard to find, and that's another thing I want to mention in the game. So anyway, I was saying that I don't think he would refer, like an astronaut would refer to scientists who work with him as eggheads. It's a bit weird. It's a bit too ghetto for the astronauts, I think. Right, so we need to get to that blinking object, as you can see, which is again a bit weird. Like I mean, a lot of games do that, but it's not something I like in games. Like that's a bit too much hand-holding, in my opinion. And there's a lot of shiny objects in the game, which is, I don't know, I guess for some people is okay. Ideally, there you go, we recharge our tank. I would like to see there's, you know, an option in the options menu that would allow you to turn that off and not have that, because that does kind of ruin the immersion. So as you can see here, we're following this line of the trail left by our crew, supposedly. We can also get more information about this thing, and it's like an oxygen pod that was dropped prior to the mission. The documents are not read out, I think, most of the time, unless they are in Russian. So that's the thing. So you arrive here, and you probably know this already from the trailer, and it should not be a spoiler for you. You realize that the Soviets have already been here, and there's going to be a little bit of dialogue, I think, transmitted into our head at this point. I think, as we approach these rocks over here. Maybe, at some point.
I understand
Yeah.
that even at twice the speed of light, your journey will take 15 years.
That's right. We'll be traveling so fast, our spacecraft will arrive at the planet before the transmission of this interview does. But it's still such a long trip. We'll be put into a sort of coma. Our heart rate will be slowed dramatically to minimize aging during the flight.
How do you prepare for this one-way mission, knowing you will never return to Earth?
Well, I have a volunteer crew of very skilled and focused individuals. We all have a deep desire to explore, to go somewhere new. And frankly, we also have few attachments here on Earth.
Right, I think that was it. So basically kind of a little explanation, his memories, I guess. And that's how he transitioned to a different area. So we're on a different area right now. Yeah, so kind of exposition happening there. So you arrive at this place, and then you soon, as we all soon gonna realize, Russians have already been here. You probably should know this from a trailer, etc., etc. There's not that many ways in the game to die. Like, there's some dangerous moments, kind of. But most of the platforming and the puzzles are there really just for pacing. That's my opinion anyway, because it doesn't really take you that long to solve any of the puzzles, and the platforming is pretty easy. So it's kind of just like, it's kind of around, it's there. So you can see here, as you walk into a thing and you get
Jetpack works. Well,
additional information about your jetpack. So basically just tutorializing, trying to tell you how to get over huge gaps. It's a bit weird that the planet, this planet seems quite big and it's supposed to be Earth-like, but like the gravity here is kind of like on the moon. So that is slightly weird in my opinion, but that's alright. So what is this part then?
are there no signs of life
Right.
on this planet?
So at some point he just starts to think that possibly this is all a hoax, because like they didn't actually travel anywhere, and there's some sort of Cold War era hoax either on the western side or eastern side or whatever. Because it's supposed to be happening at some point during the Cold War, hence the Soviet Union still exists. So when I said Russians, that's kind of what I meant in that case. They all speak, all the other people that you find documents of, they do speak Russian, so hence me saying Russians instead of Soviets, but I guess Soviets is more accurate in that case. So the game is very linear in most ways, because you just follow a path, and it does seem like they do a good job, I guess, at like making it seem big. But the areas you have to kind of like, you have to come over here, then climb up here, you know, and then jump over the rocks, etc., to get to the point where you're going. And that's cool. I mean, you know, there's place for that, etc. In you know, in the different genres of the games. Adventure games are quite often, I guess, linear. So there's like this kind of side sort of dead end. You meet a couple of times, and they help you explore the planet and give you more information. Like you approach these artifacts here, and that goes into your science tab. And I tell you about like geology of the planet and what could have been its history, etc. But there's not too many of them. I think I found 3 places out of the 6 levels that are in the beta that you see me play now, and you know, they're kind of cool. I guess they add to the environment, to the atmosphere, but you know, most of the stuff you do is quite linear. There's gonna be a new kind of interaction. Ooh. Fell through. Alright, so that's... After I said that platforming was quite easy. Well, I shouldn't have double jumped there. That was my fault. So they're trying to introduce a new mechanic to the game in there. We're gonna say in a second there. There we go. So we don't need to do that. So you can push things around, and you need to push it over there so you can climb on the next thing. And that's another thing you can do in the game. So it's kind of weird. Oh, it's gonna fall on my head. No. So as long as you're pushing it on the rock, it was kind of rolling, but now, as it's on the ground, you're actually just pushing it. So you need to keep clicking until it goes to the place where it needs to go. It's kind of awkward. You know, I get it, puzzle, etc. It's all right.
I need to get up there somehow.
Yeah, I know. I just got you a huge rock. So we just stand on here and get up on here. Pretty easy. Right, so we should be approaching the town location thing pretty soon. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're almost there. I think we're gonna see a life form here soon. Yeah, that's kind of like your indication that that fall was pretty tall, pretty high, I guess fall was. And if you fall from a large enough distance, then you would actually die. But the checkpoint system, which is how the game operates, there is no save option, at least right now in the game, right at this stage of the development. It's quite good, so you usually respawn very close to where you died. There is no sort of like permadeath, start from very beginning kind of situation, because again, this is a not that kind of game. It's an exploration game. So another thing I probably forgot to mention is the zoom. So you can explore it at the different levels of zoom. You can be like that, or you can be all the way out here. So it's kind of up to you. There's a slight problem with the camera. I think could be a problem with Unity in general. So let's say I'm looking that way, but I want to kind of strafe to the side while looking that way. The camera keeps, see what it does? It kind of keeps turning around crazy and like jerking around, which is a bit weird. I'm not sure if that's gonna get fixed or not, but hopefully it will. Because sometimes like, oh yeah, I need to get all the way over there, and you're moving there, but you want to be looking here, but then you turn, so you cannot do that. So what you do is you go WD at the same time, and you look over there, but then the camera does weird stuff and doesn't really let you do that. So that's a bit unusual, but not a major problem, obviously. There's some sort of life forms here that you can see. You can't really interact with them, unfortunately. So I think we're going up this way, if I'm not mistaken. And there we go. That was pretty easy. And we're going this way? I doubt it. I think we're going that way. At a later stage in the game, for briefly, you'll get a sort of additional boost for your jetpack, and you can like jump about 5 or 6 times, which is pretty cool. And we see a bed positioned on this hill. Hallucinations, or is it? And boom. So that's one way to die in the game. Oh crap. Whoa, that was close. So that's pretty cool. Right, let's keep on going. I think we need to be going up here. And yeah, this is the end of the second level, isn't it? There we go. So you discover a book. I doubt that a Tolstoy book in Soviet Union... Jesus, that's loud. A Tolstoy's book in Soviet Union would be published with a giant... what are they called? Hammer and sickle on the cover. That's a bit strange, in my opinion. So, you discover a town in the middle of a alien planet. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the game does have invisible walls, so you cannot really explore. Some of it also has like visible walls, so the areas you can explore are quite limited. I mean, you know, to a certain degree. So let's see, after this point, he just starts going off the different, you know, into the distance, and
I need to find my crew.
Yeah,
It must be the other way.
and I think after a certain point, yeah, he hits the wall. So that's how they deal with, you know, having a limited resources. I guess you can't actually simulate the entire planet. Right, so we're back, and we need to go into the town. He's gonna comment on that, I think, in a second here. Maybe. That's how I remember it.
What is going on here?
There we go. The textures in the game are I guess they're okay. Like the modeling of the guys is done pretty cool. Like he looks, you know, a bit cartoony, but in a nice way. I think the astronaut himself is quite nice. Frame rate's a bit low in this area, I guess. A lot of objects. So we discover a Soviet town, and we got a glowing object. I guess we got to approach that one.
What is the point of all this? Okay, I need to stay calm.
Okay, so he basically thinks that this is a hoax. They're playing a trick on him, and it's probably just he's just on Earth. And you can do some house jumping here. Well, we don't really need to be on this house, but do we need to be on this house? I don't remember. There's a little puzzle we need to solve here. I'm gonna basically finish this area, and then I'm gonna jump to the last one to show you additional mechanic and additional manipulation you can do in the game. Right, I think what we need to do is we need to come over here. How do we get? Oh no, yeah, I know. Yeah, there we go. There's a barrel. So we go to the barrel. Oh, you know what? Let's not go do that first. What I wanted to talk about before I forget about the voice acting in the game and what I really enjoy in it. So we're just gonna come. It's oxygen. We have that. Oh, there's a tape recorder.
У меня нет слов, чтобы выразить свою гордость в связи с началом наших экспериментов здесь,
Okay, so I'm gonna
в этом новом мире.
probably turn him off
Когда мне описывали
for a
зеленый
second.
огонь, звучало неправдоподобно.
Oh shit, he's actually gonna keep talking. Alright, I'm gonna probably skip to the end of this. I don't want to talk over him. Because it's pretty long, but then I'll comment after he's done.
Его красотой. И теперь нам предстоит трудный путь по оккультуриванию этой планеты на благо нашей Родины. Правительства Запада расценивают наши намерения как агрессивные. Они не признают наш суверенитет, суверенитет Советского Союза. Но за нами стоит так много побед. Мы дали отпор германской агрессии, стали могущественной державой и доблестно боролись за распространение коммунистических идеалов среди других порабощенных народов. Но то, что мы совершим здесь, позволит стране Советов вырваться далеко вперед и поставит нас во главе всего остального мира без единого выстрела. Мы обеспечим весь Советский Союз энергией, источники которой мы откроем здесь. И я буду стоять во главе этого свершения.
Alright, so cool, the dude finished. So that's a very good point about the game I wanted to mention. It has a very nice voice acting, as I said before, and unlike many Hollywood films where they have to have a Russian guy or Russian guys and they use some sort of other Eastern Europeans, or just they have a pretend American, pretend that they speak Russian and stuff like that. They actually have pretty good Russian voice actors, and it's very nice and kind of rare. And I guess you need an indie game to finally kind of get someone who actually speaks Russian and can perform and you know do the recording and do the voice acting. And it's very, very, very nice. That's a very good point about the game. I think so far I've discovered about 4 people doing, you know, 4 different voices. And that's pretty cool, and their acting is quite decent. So that's very, very good. I think could be a very good selling point of this game, that actually has, you know, incorporates other languages and cultures in a meaningful way. Which is kind of cool. So anyhow, so basically what the guy was saying is like, oh, we discovered this place, and we are gonna become a all-powerful sort of nation, and show the world, you know, what Soviet Union means, what it stands for, etc. Like, you know, we're cool. We're gonna exploit the green fire. The green fire is a sort of source of energy on this planet that allowed them to exist here at all. But as you can see, no one really seems to be at home, so something must have gone terribly wrong. So in order to advance, we need to get 2 pieces of a puzzle together. One of them is right there in a broken roof, and for that, we don't even need to jump on it. There we go. Cool. We need to. It's a code to a door, and it'll show you where it is. So again, you know, sorry, spoilers. That there isn't really. The puzzles aren't really that hard. There's nothing really to be like, oh no, I wanted to do it myself. I guess, you know, if you wanted to do it yourself, it's cool. But yeah, they're not very difficult, so don't worry about it. Don't worry if you see something here. The game. I think the game is not really about that. Again, the platforming and the puzzling is mostly, I feel, for pacing choices, and pacing matters, not necessarily to be like, oh yeah, it's really difficult to solve this puzzle. You're not gonna feel, unless it gets really difficult in the later game, you're not gonna feel like, oh, I'm really good, I solved this puzzle, I feel better about myself, that kind of thing. That's not that kind of puzzles. Right, so this is where we're kind of going, but we won't be able to get there until we get the second piece.
It's locked.
It's locked. So we're gonna go to another obvious point over there, the giant structure you can see on the other side of the town. We're gonna take a little stroll through the cemetery, which is on this hill here, and we're gonna approach the structure and see what's happening inside. And obviously there's a glowing point.
These graves seem pretty makeshift. Like they were in a hurry to bury the bodies.
Okay, so yeah, bad things possibly happened. This is my preferred way of travel. The traction, like with the astronaut's feet with the ground, is pretty cool. I mean, I guess it's okay. Probably could be better, but it doesn't seem like he's gliding around or something. He seems pretty well grounded. So I think that work on that went quite well. I'm not sure if I die if I go through this thing. Do I die? Oh, I die. Huh. I didn't realize that was the case. Alright, anyhow, so we need to avoid that. That's another little action moment there. And the thing is, I think, is going for us, but we can outrun it. Yeah. It's not very fast. So, it's our first death on camera. That's how that happens. We see a little blood on the thing there, and there's sort of a cutscene moment.
Are you okay? Oh man, this is messed up. Listen, you're almost out of oxygen. I'm pretty low myself, but I'm gonna give you everything I can. I think there may be some air canisters in that town. Okay, you're gonna be all right now. Just hang in there, buddy. We'll figure this out together, all right? Whoa!
And he's gone. Dude has a bit, like, his legs are a bit short, aren't they? That's why I said, like, he's cool looking, but he's kind of cartoony. I don't know. Seems like he's short legs. Not that there's anything wrong with it necessarily, you know. Right. Okay, so we got the second piece, so we can basically go get back to the thing. But we're low on oxygen, I think, now. Isn't it? Because we gave him our oxygen, so we should probably get some more. I think it's gonna give me a message in a second, if I remember this correctly. And I guess you can die from that as well, but so far it hasn't really been a problem. We just go to a place and get the oxygen, and you're done. You're good. It's nothing really, no big deal. Right, let's see. That's gonna be somewhere here, I think. There's the same place where the tape recorder was. Yeah, there we go, next to the flag. So I'm gonna fill up and gonna go down to the lab, and it's gonna be like probably possibly the biggest puzzle in the game was this, because like it's kind of, you may miss this house with the broken roof and like not get the thing, but again, it's pretty easy. Like I said, there's only 20 levels of the game. It's gonna be on release, which is gonna happen apparently in 4 weeks, and maybe, you know, the puzzles are gonna get more difficult at that point, but right now they're pretty easy. So it's gonna run over there. Ooh, jumping and all that. Right. So this is the lab we're gonna enter. I'm just gonna go down there, and then pretty soon I'm gonna go to the last level of the game to show you another mechanic I want to show you. The transition between levels, like can be sometimes a bit weird. It's like, for example, now when I go in here, it just goes dark. It says research complex, and then you kind of just drop down, but you just already see yourself drop down. So yeah, I guess it's okay. It's slightly immersion breaking in my opinion, but you know, it's cool. It's alright. It's no big deal. Right, so you can use your flashlight, but you don't have to. Like, it's not actually useful. That's probably another thing I wanted to mention. It's okay. Like, you know, it looks like it's a cool flashlight. but you can still see everything you want to see. There's the bed again. It slows you down every time you approach something important, which is kind of crap in my opinion, but I mean, it's probably a matter of taste. Is there anything interesting happening right now here? I don't think so. See what I mean? Like, yeah, you can see better, but it's okay. Not sure what's down here. Oh yeah, right. Okay, cool. Now we can end it here. I think. You know what? Let's just go slightly. I'll show you this place here, and then I'll swap to the last one. So you're trying to get in here. I'm sorry, wrong button. You cannot get in there. We need to give power to the thing. So what we need to do is get in here. Put the power on. And that's the national anthem of Soviet Union. How do I get out of here? I forgot. Pretty sure this is the way. Pretty sure. There we go. So I go into the lab. And what do you see? An empty room with a skeleton. Oh shit, it's gonna read it. Anyway, cool. So I'm gonna switch out of here. And okay, the sound is dynamic. That's pretty cool. Alright, so I'm gonna see you in the last bit of the game. Okay, so in this part of the game, you acquire another tool you're gonna need. I skipped through a lot of stuff. So I'm not gonna, you know, for one thing, I don't really want to spoil everything rather, and have too many spoilers in the video. But I do want to show you another mechanic that the game is going to be apparently using quite a lot, because some Tesla coils over there, and that is, come on, can I not just get, got stuck in there. All right, this is a bit of annoying platforming happening here. Wait one sec, can I not just, I have to double jump. Double jump. All right. Okay. Stay cool. Stay calm. Yeah, we can do this. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Turn around. I think we can just get here like that. And do I need to read this? Oh, okay. Cool. This is not the voiced thing. All right. So we get to the arm, the robotic arm, which they've been using, the Soviets, because a lot of the stuff in the game is made for tall people, and that's explained over there, but I think I can skip it. I don't have to actually listen to it in order to continue. So you see the robotic arm is right there. I'm not sure if I can deploy it you press M to deploy it, but I cannot really do that well. You have to do it when you need it. So we're gonna approach the Tesla coil. I think we're gonna need it in a second, and I'll show you how that works, so you have an idea of like a full idea of what you can do in the game, upon which you should be basing your decision. Whoa! And all of this after I said the platforming wasn't hard. Hey, last time when I played through, I did it from the first try. Okay. Do I have the arm? Do I have the arm? Oh, I have to go at the arm again. Oh no, I have the arm. It says the arm, right? I think it is the arm. Okay, one sec. No, I definitely have the arm. Alright, I don't need to do that. I just need to jump over this thing again. So yeah, that's what happens usually. You say like, oh, you know, platforming it's not a big deal. It's, you know, it's pretty easy, and then you die. I can probably just run across here. I don't actually have to jump. Yeah, there we go. That's what smart astronauts do. So that's how the energy is operated. Those the green things are some sort of secret power magic things that give power to everything, and they're really good. Apparently better than, you know, nuclear energy. So we're gonna turn this on, and that's a lift, you know, because adventure games must have lifts, and it's gonna take some time for the lift to come down here. But we got time, that's cool. Let's see if I can jump on it now. Ah, almost fell through. Ah. I swear I was better at this when I was playing it without recording. It's just stress and anxiety that comes with making videos that is making me do all those mistakes. So it's a pretty noisy environment here, obviously, you know. A lot of energy is produced from that obelisk over there. There's another sort of glowing object that does another explanation thing, but we're not gonna go there right now. Instead, we're gonna go this way, and we're gonna turn on another thing, another puzzle, and we're gonna solve it using our arm, the robotic arm, so that I can show you how that works. So it's kind of broken down situation here. So you can see there's another lift over here that we need to use, but unfortunately there's no power, like it often happens in adventure/exploration games. So instead, we need to come over here and fix it. In order to fix it, we need to put that rock, stone, green fire thing into the obelisk, which is what makes it kind of produce power. This was not built by the Soviets. They discovered this already here, and this was apparently built by some very tall creatures, and that's why the arm is necessary, so they can operate their machinery without actually being very tall. So press M, you go into the arm mode, and I'm assuming in the later stage of the game, this is also going to help you solve some puzzles, etc. So you cannot actually use this with the mouse. Like I move my mouse, nothing happens. So you have to use WASD for kind of up, down, all around thing, yeah. And then you use Q and E to take it back or put it all the way in. Okay, so just a tip, and then all the way in, you know. Anyhow, so you come over here. I think you grab it by pressing. Wait. I got this, guys. I got this. There we go. So you click your left mouse button and you grab it and you lift it up. And you shove it in, and it's already over there. So it's all good. And the thing is now powered. If you were to go over here and press the button, it will get you the lift. So this is basically the other mechanic. So you run around, you jump around, you press things, you listen to things, you follow a character. You find this. I'm sure you've seen in the trailer. There's a woman who you are kind of chasing down, and it's kind of unclear whether she's evil or good or what does she want. But she's basically only other human-like creature you see on the planet, and you're all alone, and you know there's no way of getting back to Earth, so you might as well basically chase her down. So this is where we're gonna stop, and I'm just gonna offer my final thoughts about the game. I think as something that was developed by one guy, this is pretty cool, and the game in general makes for great screenshots of a lot of like juxtaposed objects, like, you know, in a wooden house in an alien terrain or something like that, or, you know, Tesla coils, and there's some sort of non-Tesla coily structure, or like a traditional building, etc. And it's pretty cool that way. And as something, like I said, done by one guy, it's pretty impressive. It's a full game, you know, full adventure game with full kind of believable environments. There's problems that I've kind of mentioned, which is, well, for one thing, this is not really my genre, so I'm not kind of a big fan of platforming stuff, and I would rather, if I were to play an exploration game, I would just rather explore, and without, you know, doing the jumping around, which, you know, probably is okay for most people. But anyway, that's where I stand. And at the price that it's at right now, which is like 10 pounds, I think. I'm assuming it's gonna be like $12. It's probably gonna be like $15 on release. It's pretty cool. I think it's well priced. It's definitely something that if you enjoy exploration games and if you enjoy adventure games, something you should invest in. The first game probably reminded me of was Dig, or The Dig, which is the first serious LucasArts game, and I probably mentioned this in other videos as well, because it's one of the games that had a pretty huge influence on me. So yeah, it's a good looking game. Right now, again, it's in beta. This is early access. It's not actually a full game, so do keep that in mind if you decide to purchase it. On the Steam website, it says that it's going to come out in 4 weeks, so it's not a long wait or anything like that. So if you're, you know, if you like this, you'll probably be able to play through the full game pretty quickly, quite soon. Time-wise, the 6 levels that are here probably took me less than 2 hours to cover. That's not necessarily indicative of what you're gonna be expecting, what you probably see as, you know, how much time you're gonna spend on the entire game. And again, it's linear, So, you know, be mindful if that's something you don't like, or maybe you do like that, etc. You know, because that is definitely there, that is definitely happening. I doubt that the rest of the game, I mean, I cannot be 100% sure of this, but I doubt that the rest of the game is not going to be suddenly linear or whatever. It's one of those games that people like to refer to as, like, you know, it's very atmospheric. The music is well done, the voice acting is well done. It's pretty great that they have like different language actors, and like in terms of like on the linguistic level, this game is great. And that's something I'm very happy about, and I think needs, you know, to be supported and hopefully emulated. Other people should kind of treat this as an example of how to do different languages in the same game. So when, for example, when you see those Russian texts, right, which were, I don't know, somewhere, yeah, for example, the director's report. So not only he is clearly a Russian speaker who does a good job doing, you know, voice acting, but he's also, his text corresponds very well to the English text, and none of them are a verbatim translation, which is often what happens in games. Like at least one of the things, either spoken or translated, would be crap. In this case, both of them are well done, and that's something that I think is very laudable, and I'm very happy to see that in a game. So it's probably one of the things that made me the happiest in the game, that there's the production level of translation and voice acting and storytelling in forms of text was pretty cool. The story in general is kind of trashy. It's like a trashy science fiction, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I think that's cool. I do like trashy science fiction. I'm not sure I'm super drawn in by this particular story, of like, oh, what happened here? Other people been here before. It's kind of cool. And I'm not saying I'm not disinterested. I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm, you know, super mega engaged in it, but it's okay. It's cool. I you know, especially if you kind of like that sort of Cold War era science fiction thing and shtick, it's, you know, it's your thing. You should definitely go for it, get this game, etc. So that's probably what I think about Lifeless Planet. Once again, it's now available on early access on Steam. It costs $9.99 until release, and it's probably going to cost the same few days up to release. So, you know, might as well, you can not necessarily save money now, but whatever, you know, as long as you buy it a few days after release, it's probably going to be a discount, etc. So that's the price. That's where you get it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did so, please consider supporting this video in any way you can, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.